sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money.
More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
Oh, no. The guru for fiscal fitness is actually with his daughter today, attending her graduation, and I am Vince Mastracco, longtime golf talk show host here. And those of you that listen to Jeff regularly know that Jeff and I are friends, and I'm also a local realtor with Lion, and Jeff calls me in every now and then, and I am tickled to do this. I actually have a little different, let me see, last time we did this, I had an old friend of mine, Christine Hansen, in, as well as a friend named Tony Asaro. Well, I got a dear old friend in today, and that is my well, not old, but longtime friend. Let's call it that, because you're younger. So that is Brett Taylor is in with me right now. And Brett, what mic do we have you on?
This one. Hey,
there
good job.
Go.
Congratulations. Operative word being old, though, no doubt. But what a treat to be in here with you, Vince.
This is a treat. This is we finished up our run of about 19 years, and you being part of it for about 13 years in December of 2012. And so I have done Jeff's show. Jeff has been kind enough to let me in the booth a few times now, but this is the first time we have been together, so we're looking at 18 months down the road.
Isn't that something?
I called you this morning. I had a deja vu driving down the road coming into the station today. It was like, wow, Saturday morning, Brett and I are going to sit and talk. And
the same feeling for me. And I got to the same point you did and said, this is kind of fun. This will be a fun morning.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun morning. Let me give you a little bit of a lead-in, folks, on our guests. And those of you that do Facebook know already. Our lead guest this morning is going to be Emily Bazar, who writes the Ask Emily column for the Bee. And we're going to be talking about the Affordable Health Care Act and some of the gotchas in the Affordable Health Care Act. Then the bottom of the hour, we're going to have an in-studio guest, and we're going to sort of switch gears to a little bit of golf. Jeff allows me to do that, and it is going to be Cameron Champ is going to come in and sit in with us. So we're going to go from there. And then we'll probably have a little call-in on some of the stuff going on up in Tahoe right now. All the golf courses woke up last week because of the Memorial Day weekend. The Tahoe Basin is open and ready and taking your green fee reservations. So we'll do that. We got the celebrity coming up in July. And I'll just let Phil Whitinger do the announcement on that when he calls in. So before I even get into a little bit of a real estate market update, I got to give you a baseball story from my high school days, actually one of my high school coaches. And it just reminds me, because I'm looking at Chris in there with his Boston cap on, and he was watching the Boston game last night when David Ortiz got drilled. So, okay. I'm playing. This came out one day. I was playing golf with one of my old baseball coaches from La Sierra High School locally, and he said he had one high school game where there was a really hard throw, a good power arm on the mound. He didn't mention the name, and guys throwing a no-hitter against him. So he gets up about like late in the game, like the sixth inning, 7-inning game, and so my coach Mike gets up. And he gets drilled in the back by the pitcher. The pitcher was wild. So he gets drilled in the back. He takes first base. The next batter gets up and ducks to get out of the way of a fastball coming out at his head. It hits his bat and bloops over first base. Mike scores all the way from first. So, and the guy ends up losing the game. Their pitcher was throwing a shutout game too. So the guy ends up losing his no-hitter, and he loses the game 1-0.
No kidding.
So there you go.
Oh, jeepers.
All right. quick informal market update in terms of real estate. We are seeing more listings. For months, we have had a shortage of listings out there, but yet we are not seeing a frenzy in terms of buying. Listings are coming up. Appreciation is back. Positive equity is back. And so I would say that the market right now is a little bit more of a in-balance market. In fact, I just looked at an appraisal on a piece of property the other day, and the appraiser checked the box calling it an imbalance market. So we are seeing some balance in the market. Lending rates are very, very good. They have sort of moved back down again, and that's really where you got to call Jeff Tarbell and get a hold of Jeff on this stuff. We are seeing some things like fresh start programs coming out there that will allow some lower credit scores, I don't know what they're doing with debt to income ratio, and that's all Jeff's expertise, not mine. But the people that talks to are people that had a short sale, lost property as a short sale, lost a property as a foreclosure. So even the waiting period, time limits for bankruptcies has shortened up a little bit. In fact, I believe it's 2 years on an FHA loan right now. Mm-hmm. I think it's still 4 years on a conventional, but there are some opportunities out there. Short sales themselves they're diminishing. They're still hanging around out there. There's still some going on, but they're about 8 to 10% of the market right now. So anyway, and then I want to do a couple shout outs. First shout out is to our old friend, Tim Havanchek. So once I posted it on Facebook that we were going to be in the show, he wrote, "Looking forward to hearing the show. Give the old pro and my wife, Diana, a little shout out for our 39th anniversary." So blessed. And
Diana needs a big shout out for that. Put up with him for that long.
Well, and Tim, of course, had an aneurysm burst on the golf course while he was coaching the Sierra College golf team, and so he's a lucky guy to still be here right now. And I'm going to even mention his possible book title because he's had 2 bouts where he's almost gone down, and so he was working on a book. I don't know where that has gone to now, but I love the title. It's called "Heaven's Nice, Been There Twice."
Right.
So Tim is a lucky guy. Got to do this one for Wally Borland, another mortgage guy, but a dear friend of mine and dear friend of our show from the past, and actually I believe a friend of Jeff's. Anyway, Wally is big with the Optimist Club and Northern California qualifier tournament for the Optimist International Junior Golf Tournament will be held in cooperation with the First Tee of Greater Sacramento on Tuesday, June 17th at Plumas Lakes near Marysville. And he didn't give me a website to register. He said Google it, but you can also call Wally at 916-955-6267, or you can always call me. Remember my phone, 916-220-PUT, and I'll put you in touch with Wally. That's actually a good event. Let's move right now to our featured guest this morning, because the Affordable Health Care Act, and I'm going to call it that instead of the
Obamacare.
I wasn't going to politicize this, but the Affordable Health Care Act is this. I mean, it is crazy how it's come, it's implemented, but there are some gotchas in there, and here to give us those, Chris, would you bring her in? I don't want to touch the phones. Good morning. Do we have you with us, Emily? Hello, Emily. Okay. We just lost Emily. Instead of Chris being able to bring her in, I'm going to have to push it.
But Vince, there's still so many outstanding questions about the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, baby. There are definitely questions about it.
And mismatches, your plan and matching to doctors and hospitals and all the other. I think Emily's going to answer these questions for us. Yeah. But there's so many things that are outstanding yet to be really discovered by the people. By the folks. What are we going to get? What is this going to do, and how is it going to impact our health care?
We've got Emily back on the line, and we've got her up right now. So, Emily, sorry that we dropped you right there. Just one of those little things in the studio, but
no problem.
Emily Bazar, our guest, and I want to go. You are a columnist and senior writer for the California Center for Health Reporting.
Yes.
And of course, I've become a fan of yours, as you know, from corresponding with you, reading your twice monthly columns in the Sacramento Bee.
Yeah.
But you've got a lot of stuff on your website, including videos, television appearances, and I'm looking at you're a graduate of the USC Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism.
Actually, no, I'm a graduate from Stanford University, and the Center for Health Reporting is based at the USC.
Okay, that's it. Well, either way, I'm so impressed with your credentials. As you know, I have a family of journalists, so
Thank you.
Anyway, let's jump right into this. One of your recent columns, the one that really just sort of spiked me back over the edge again, was of the narrow networks that are being set up by the healthcare providers. So if I need a surgery and I have, whether I've bought it through covered, my healthcare package through covered CA or whatever, I go to an in-network provider. That would normally be my primary care physician, or I'd be referred from there. But wherever they've got hospital privileges, it could be out of network. So can you amplify this a little bit?
Absolutely. Let me give a little bit of context first. So this problem, having to go to doctors in network and out of network, that's not new necessarily. People have had to deal with that in the past. What's different now under the Affordable Care Act, I don't mind calling it Obamacare because the president calls it Obamacare. What's different under Obamacare is that for the plans that have been sold through Covered California and on the private market, in order to keep costs, quote, low, end quote, the insurers have narrowed their networks. That means they're limiting the numbers of doctors and hospitals and other medical providers that participate. And the idea is that they go to these doctors and hospitals and say, hey, we'll give you a bunch of new patients. In return, you do the work for a little bit lower rate. So what's happening, and this is primarily with EPO plans and PPOs, which are the preferred provider plans, where it really is important to stay in network. It's not so much with HMOs or Kaiser, for instance, which is a closed network. So what's happening is people are having a lot of trouble finding doctors in the first place who accept the plans, these new plans, or if they find a doctor who says he or she accepts the plan, they find out later, I just got an email like this yesterday, they find out later that they're really not accepting the plan. So there's a lot of inaccuracy, a lot of misinformation out there. And then there's more.
Yeah. Keep going with it. Brett and I are both here with other questions on that.
As you said, here's some things to watch out for if you're a consumer with one of these plans. One is if you have an EPO or a PPO, you were probably told that your out-of-pocket maximum would be no greater, for things like co-pays, deductibles, that sort of thing, would be no greater than $6,350 for an individual or $12,700 for a family plan. Now, that sounds like a lot to me as that is, right? Mm-hmm. But before I wrote the column that you're referring to, I wrote another one about networks. A woman from Berkeley wrote in to me and said, Emily, I bought an EPO, and I believe hers was Blue Shield, and she said, I bought an EPO, and I found out that if I go to out-of-network providers, there is no out-of-pocket maximum. And I did some homework, I did some reporting, and I found out she's right. So what is happening is for a lot of these plans, if you happen to go to an out-of-network provider, there is either, for EPOs and PPOs, no out-of-network maximum, or it's something like $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000.
Amazing. Amazing.
This is the reason this is, people may say again, well, what's the big deal? This happened before. It's a very big deal because now you have these narrow networks. Now, let's say this woman, her name was Maureen, let's say she needed surgery, and she did her homework, and she found out that, yes, her doctor and her hospital are in network. What about the pathologist who, reads the biopsy? What about the radiologist? What about, the anesthesiologist?
Anesthesiologist, yep.
How in the heck can you find out as a consumer whether all these people you're going to come into contact with are going to be in network or out of network?
And Emily, how much are these? We're still people are still trying to figure their way around. Are things going to change down the road? So if a consumer goes in and does his homework and does all the right stuff, gets into a plan, can he then find out later that things have changed?
You mean about whether or not they're doctors in the
Correct.
It's a minefield. I feel very blessed that I get my insurance through my workplace, which is USC, because it's a bit of a minefield yet. The CMA, which is the California Medical Association, which represents about 40,000 doctors in the state, did a survey in the end of April, and immediately, over the span of a couple of days, about 2,500 doctors, or maybe a little less, responded, which is a great response rate. And they asked these doctors questions about covered California plans. They found that there were many findings, but the two that really jumped out at me were that at some time, 4 out of 5 doctors were confused about their participation in covered California plans, and now 1 out of 5 is still confused. So even doctors are confused, and it makes it very hard if you're a consumer. You call your doctor says, yes, that's not enough. You have to call the insurer. You have to call the hospital. You have to jump through these hoops, some of which you don't even know
exist. And I was going to ask you when you mentioned do your homework, because we buy through Covered CA. My wife and I are both self-employed.
Okay.
And so Blue Cross, I'll lay it out, Anthem Blue Cross. Mm-hmm. So I went to a doctor in, November, December, oncologist,
okay, and
said, you've always taken my plan. Are you going to continue? And this was the receptionist said, oh yeah, we'll still take it. I said, no, well, wait, are you in the plan? And will you be in the plan? And nobody really knew. And I don't even know if the doctors know. So you're trying to do your homework, but you don't know.
That's exactly right. And that's why I think it's such a kind of a perilous situation for consumers. There's so much confusion, and that's why you have to verify against multiple sources. And ultimately, really the insurer, I wouldn't rely only on their website, but I would go with their website. I would call their customer service reps. I'd definitely call the hospital. I'd call your doctor, But if you find inconsistencies, you've got to be a sleuth and really track them down. You brought up another problem that's coming up, is that, okay, you need surgery, your doctor's in network, but sometimes doctors only have privileges at one hospital, and it's turning out that some of these doctors that have privileges only in one hospital, that hospital is not in network. So these patients are having to make a difficult choice, and that choice generally means that they are going to have to switch doctors unless they want to pay that thousands of dollars out of pocket, which I imagine they don't.
Right.
Yeah. To be continued on this. We've got to take a break right now.
Okay.
And Emily, when we come back, we might try to open up the phone lines a little bit too. In fact, I'll just lay the number out there now. Folks, the text line is not working today, so you would have to call us if you have questions for Emily. If you want to talk about the Affordable Health Care Act, or otherwise known as the Obama Health Care Program, locally 339-1140 or 800-920-1140. We'll be back with more Talkin' Money right after these messages.
Talkin' Money!
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Welcome back to Talkin' Money, everybody. I am Vince Mastracco, longtime golf talk show host here, along with my longtime co-host here, Brett Taylor, and we are just tickled to be here. We thank Jeff. He's got a family function going on today, and we appreciate being in here. We're going to pick up our conversation with Emily Bazar right now regarding the Affordable Health Care Act. I'm just going to stay non-political all the way through this.
Okay, good.
So, all right. Now, Emily, as these things become exposed with the narrow network setup, is it likely to remain, or will we maybe see some evolutionary changes in the program? Do you have any idea on that at this point?
I don't have anything firm, Vince. I suspect that things will change because, in part, they have to.
Okay.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah. We're here. I know you're having some troubles with the phones on your end, and we already dropped you once, so we're gonna hold with you right here for sure. Okay. The whole one of the premises of the Affordable Health Care Act was that by requiring all Americans to purchase health care coverage, it would increase the money available in the pool to help those that really can't afford it. Are we getting any reliable data or statistics out on is it having a positive effect?
You mean in terms of, well, the pool is pretty mixed in part because, as you know, the ACA requires everybody to have insurance. And so that means a lot more, I don't know what percentage exactly, of young people, the so-called young invincibles, as they're called in this health insurance world, they have purchased insurance. And so you have a bunch more of those younger, healthier people who are less likely to need care in the insurance pool now. Is that what you asked?
Yes, that is. But I'm wondering if any data has come out. It was supposed to begin to have a positive effect of increasing revenue while potentially lowering healthcare treatment costs.
I see what you're saying. In fact, that data, I've not seen it. It may be too early yet just to see that kind of thing. But it is for sure. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I apologize, but Covered California released the percentage of people ages 18 to 34 who purchased, and it was proportionate or greater, as I recall, to the proportion of the population that those folks represented. So that was good. But remember, young people don't only buy from Covered California. I have an intern, Sarah Helson, who works with me, and she actually went out to Sacramento City College and Sierra College recently, and we'll be writing something up about that. But she interviewed about 25 young people and found that by far the most popular option for them was staying on their parents' plan until they turned 26.
Right.
Yep.
So, and that's easier for them. It may be more cost effective. We thought she'd find a bunch of young folks who bought Covered California plans. She didn't find one.
Wow. Wow.
We were shocked.
Yeah.
We were shocked. It was not a scientific survey, though. So.
What, Emily, what about the flip side? What about people that choose not to? Can you clarify the penalties and moving forward with those penalties?
Well, I'm still wondering how the IRS is going to collect on the penalties.
Yeah, those are great questions. Okay, so the penalty this year, it goes up until 2016, but the penalty this year for not having insurance is $95 or 1% of your annual household income, whichever is greater. Now, people hear that and they think, oh, $95, no big deal. I'm just going to not have insurance and pay the penalty. Well, people are forgetting the whichever is greater part. The IRS has given an example of a family of four that makes $70,000 a year. And I'm not going to go through the equation with you just because it involves, you have to reduce that $70,000 by a certain amount. It's like $20,300.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So in the end, that family who makes $70,000 would owe $497. Now, $95 is per person, by the way, and kids are also assessed the penalty, but they're assessed at half the adult rate. Now, that goes up by 2016 to $695 or 2.5% of annual household income, whichever is greater. So that could be thousands of dollars. But I think, was it Brett, you who just said you were confused about how this is going to be assessed, or how it's going to be, the penalty is going to be received basically by the government?
Yeah, actually, how is does the IRS have collection? Do they have an enforcement ability on that?
Excellent question. Not very much. The reality is, okay, so what's going to happen is that insurance companies starting in 2015, and not only insurance companies, but state agencies that provide health insurance, like Medi-Cal, like the Department of Health Care Services in California, or even USC, my employer. Employers provide health care insurance. They're going to have to start sending out these new 1099s of sorts. We get 1099s for taxes for other things. Mm-hmm. We're going to be getting these starting in 2015 if things don't get changed in the law that say we've had health insurance for however many months. It's going to be kind of the proof. And so this penalty for the ACA for not having insurance is going to be dealt with when you file your taxes. So, for instance, if you don't have insurance this year, 2014, you'll be dealing with that on your taxes when you file them in April of 2015. And now the catch is, as you say, the IRS has very, very limited enforcement powers. They can basically take the penalty out of a refund if you've got a refund coming. If you don't have a refund coming, they cannot garnish your wages. They cannot kind of come knocking on your door. They can't take other steps that you would think they might be able to take to get a penalty. It's really mostly by taking it out of a refund if you have one coming.
How interesting. So for the first time in history, we want to try not to get tax refunds.
Structure it so you don't get it.
It's really funny because that's, Rush Limbaugh has been telling his listeners, do whatever you can to avoid a refund, and I just went and spoke to a tax consultants group in Riverside County, and they were saying, I asked them this question, I said, are people asking you not to have refunds? They said, they're not yet, but they're going to. They expect that to happen.
Right. There we go. All right. Okay, our guest has been Emily Bazar. You can read the Ask Emily column. You can also subscribe to her columns. I get your email feeds now. Why don't you give us the best way for people to follow you and what you're writing? You're writing on some topics that are touching every American household right now with regards to healthcare. So, and this is going to be an ongoing thing, in my opinion. We may come back and talk to you some more, Emily.
I hope so, Vince. You're absolutely right. It touches everybody. And yes, you can find my columns at our website is centerforhealthreporting.org. I'm on Twitter at Emily Bazar my Twitter handle is Emily Bazar. And then finally, if you want to get my email, I do send out an email every 2 weeks when the column runs. You can just shoot me an email and ask me to be put on the list. It's the email is askemily@usc.edu.
Askemily@usc.edu. All right.
Incidentally, if you have questions, because that's what my column does, is it answers questions, that's the email to send those questions to.
Perfect. All right. Hey, thank you so much for being with us this morning. And I know you're down in Fullerton visiting your parents, which is where my in-laws reside as well. So go enjoy them and have a great weekend. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us on the air today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, right. Emily.
Bye-bye.
And enjoy Vince's in-laws. Is that what you said?
No, I said my in-laws.
Go down there, go enjoy them.
Her father's a professor at Cal State Fullerton, so go enjoy. I didn't see you're messing me up.
You did.
13 years on the air with you, and I still got to take this stuff. All right, we are transitioning right now. We are transitioning our show over to a little less money and a little more golf, and we're very happy to have you here with us today. And that is, I'm looking across at Cameron Champ, most recently having won the Memorial Amateur last weekend at Ansel Hoffman, and I believe that was your final appearance as a junior in Sacramento? Final tournament?
Yes.
Whoops, let me turn your mic on. Mic 3, are you on now?
Yes.
And you're going to have to kind of want to kiss the sponge on these guys. Yeah.
Yes, for me, that probably is going to be my last junior event. The other events I'd usually plan to be the state fair, but school starts at that time, and the USAM is the week before. So if I make it into that and play well in the USAM, then basically after that I'd go straight there to school. So for me, the Memorial is kind of basically my last junior tournament / amateur tournament in Sacramento.
Okay.
Well, where are you playing the rest of the summer to? Where are you off to?
Yeah, what's up?
What do you got?
I actually leave Sunday. I go to South Carolina. I think it's called the Palmetto Amateur.
Palmetto.
And then I go from there to the Northeast, and I'm playing in the Porter Cup in New Jersey, and then I go back down to Atlanta for the Dogwood. And in between there, just before my birthday, I'm playing it's called the FootJoy Invitational, which would be my last birthday event because my birthday's the day after. So basically gone all June. I come back I think on July 5th or something like that. So it's going to be a fun 5 weeks of golf.
That'll be fun. And then you're heading off to Texas A&M.
I am, yes, sir.
You excited?
Very, very. Yeah, it's been a very long process getting here. A lot of hard work and a lot of hours put in. But it's finally all paying off in the end.
What it's about. It doesn't end either.
It doesn't. No, it does not.
And that's good stuff. Hey, actually, we've already got a caller on the line, somebody that wants to ask you a question. So I will open up phone lines. We're going to take a little break after we take this call. But anybody that wants to call in and ask Cameron anything or say hi to him, you are certainly welcome to do that. 800-920-1140, 339-1140 locally. But we've caller one. You are up right now. Hello.
Hello, Cameron?
Yes.
Hi, I was at this big prestigious junior tournament in South Carolina called the Junior Invitational. I was wondering what were your thoughts on that, and if you've had any time to maybe brush up on your ping pong skills.
Yeah, the Junior Invitational. Yeah.
Do you know who this is?
Do you know who this is?
I think I do.
Go ahead, say his name.
Is Austin?
It is absolutely. It's Austin Smotherman.
Like it.
Yeah. I mean, you had to know once you got the ping pong skills going.
Yeah, because I'm terrible, so I'm probably the worst in the whole field. But
that's all right. That's why we play golf, don't we?
Yeah.
So we got Austin Smotherman from down in Texas at SMU, and you were heading to Texas A&M.
Yes,
so,
sir.
A little, and you guys text each other a little bit here and there too, don't you?
Yeah, we try to keep in contact.
You guys sort of yank each other's chains.
Yeah, I know. Like
well,
you said,
we're at two pretty competitive Texas schools now, so we'll be playing against each other.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun.
That's good. Austin, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I wish I was in town to give Cameron a run for his money at the Memorial, but I was still here at school. But congrats, Cameron. That's awesome on the win.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Good stuff. And hey, give us a quick little rundown with your most recent golf right now. You said your game's good?
Yeah, game's been pretty good. Practicing. We just got back a couple days ago from the NCAA championships up in Kansas, where we actually made the final 8 and were able to play match play, which is pretty exciting. We were on the Golf Channel was there. They had TV cameras all over the place, and unfortunately we lost first round to Alabama, the future champions. But pretty good experience for a young team, and hopefully, I know Cameron will be there next year. So,
absolutely, very good, Austin.
You looking forward to getting down there?
I am very much. Yeah, I mean, in Sacramento, I'm kind of like the last one to leave, sort of thing.
Of your peer group. Yeah,
exactly. Austin. I mean, I think Austin. He's 2 years ahead of me, and almost everyone else. So, it's kind of it'll be nice to go and compete against them and play against the best kids in the country.
This is good stuff. All right. Hey, Austin, we've got to take a break right now. This was fun. We set this up on you, Cameron. So Austin and I have been texting for a couple days to get this going. So you're a good sport, man. Thank you for doing this, and we'll catch up more in depth, too.
Have a good rest of the show.
All right. So
that was nice.
Yeah, a little surprise for you. Thought we'd give you. Well, this is fun to come in and do interviews. So the next place I want to see you is going to be in. I want it to be in like the big interview room where there's a couple hundred reporters and everybody with notebooks and microphones firing questions at you, because that's usually a good thing. It means you're leading. You're the leader for a round, or you've won a tournament. So I mean, right,
true.
Brett?
Absolutely.
That's the best place to be afterwards.
Yes, very much.
How would you know?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding you. But congratulations. Good win last week, too.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to take a break right now. We got to get Jeff's breaks in on Jeff's time. It's his show. This is the Talkin' Money Show with Jeff Tarbell and John Foderaro, and they have been kind enough to turn it over to Vince and Brett today. So we'll be back more with Cameron Champ right after these messages.
Talkin' Money!
And we're back to Talkin' Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
Here's Vince Mastracco and Brett Taylor, the old golf talk guys, reuniting in here a little bit, along with our guest Cameron Champ, and we are talking a little bit of golf right now, maybe a little bit of golf business in that golf courses are coming back a little bit, Brett. Everything rounds are up.
Right now, yes. We're still losing players generally, the trend, but that peaked out with Tiger at the top of his game, driving players to the game. And I think the biggest unknown right now is what's the weather, what's the harsh harsh winter in the Northeast going to do to them this summer, and what about the drought out west? It's kind of still an unknown how this whole season's still going to play out, and here we are virtually in June right now.
Yeah, indeed. So, all right. I got to make one quick announcement before we move right back over to Cameron, and that is simply we had our longtime friend and listener on the line, John Monday, who called, but I told him we weren't going to take him this time, but he was calling to wish my wife Patty and I happy anniversary. Our 29th anniversary is tomorrow, so I need to do this and say, Patty, dear, you are the love of my life, and I still remember getting off the airplane after we got engaged with a T-shirt that said, I do on June 2. So
talk about a remarkable 29 years.
A long time ago.
Patty,
no
you're
teasing.
a saint.
Yes,
What?
she is a saint. Most of the time. All right, Cameron.
Yes, sir.
There were some quotes from Sean Foley.
Yes.
So you're using Sean. So you're using Tiger's instructor now.
Yes, sir.
But he said that he watched you for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes and said, okay, I want to be a part of this. Where did you hook up with him? I remember you putting something on Facebook that you had taken a lesson with him.
Yes.
So, I don't know, bring us through that story.
We just kind of got in contact with him, and I really haven't had like a swing coach basically my whole life. It's just more just naturally taught. I've had a few coaches here and there, but it's kind of been long distances, so I wasn't able to see him that often. And then I started working with Phil Dawson, and then we were able to get in contact with Sean Foley. So obviously I wanted to take that offer up and just see what he had to hear and say, and just kind of went from there. I had one lesson with him, and he's just kind of really interested in kind of my game. I'm kind of a power hitter, and he kind of enjoys seeing that, some of the angles and stuff that I create that maybe some other people don't create. And just kind of went from there. We created a really good relationship, and it's led to here.
That's an understatement, just by the way.
Yeah, I'm
some
kind
angles
of a power
that some
hitter.
people don't create. 99.9% of the population, even the tour pros, don't create those angles. Cameron, what's your experience so far? What's your take from Sean?
He's by far different than any other coach or anyone I've heard before. Just obviously, you have like a Butch style of teaching, kind of old school, and Sean's kind of the like new and improved. He uses TrackMan a lot, which I kind of
like
prefer.
that. Yeah, I like that.
I'm not a very technique guy. I'm just, if you show me something, I can kind of do it after a few minutes, and then obviously you got to work on it. But he just has so much knowledge, just especially scientific knowledge, and also he helps me a lot with the mental part of golf. He's probably the most positive man I've ever met. He's definitely been through a lot in his life to get to where he is now. I mean, obviously probably number one coach in golf, teaching, very, very talented and
so
high-class
at
people.
some point in time, you got to get on the range with Tiger when Tiger can get back on the range together.
That's true too.
And put that picture on Facebook. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
That would be cool stuff. And Sean gets criticized, but what he is a very deep thinker. That's my gathering with him. I gather from him. So he's a way deeper thinker than you or me, Brett.
Well, that's not saying much. Talk to us about A&M. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the program.
Yep, and then we got to move over to our buddy Phil Whitinger, who's on the line.
Yes, I committed there actually kind of young, my sophomore year. I saw some schools before that, and kind of when I saw A&M, it just kind of fitted really nicely for me. It's a small town. I'm not really into the big cities. Driving 30, 40 minutes to get to golf courses, it's just wasting study time and obviously other curricular activities if you want to do so. Our course is 2 miles away from our campus. We have great practice facilities. We just redid the facility. I think it's about a 12 to 15 acre facility that we just redid. And it's just different conditions as well. West Coast, we only play, Bend and Poana.
Right.
We don't really have wind here. There, it's blowing, and it's all Bermuda. Which for most of the amateur events, we're all on the East Coast anyway. So it just kind of just gets you used to it. And obviously the way the coach runs his system, it just really all blends really, really well for me.
This sounds all good stuff. All good. All right.
Sometimes that's just what you need, is just to feel the right fit.
I just feel really, really comfortable.
Let's move over and very quickly find out what's going on up in Tahoe right now. We got longtime friend Phil Whitinger on the line. I've always referred to him as the busiest man on the hill, golf PR guy. Phil, you're going to have about 2.5 minutes, buddy, instead of the 5 I promised you, because we're talking with Cameron Champ. So,
well, I'll tell you what, Cameron, very impressive young man. Keep hitting that ball. We might have to invite him up to the American Century Championship one of these days.
And that's it. Well, okay, so who's going to kick the most butt at the American Century, as I always call it, the Tahoe Celebrity coming up here?
Well, don't call it that, Vince, because American Century is the title sponsor.
I know, but
I know. No, the name that's going to get the most attention, and it's getting it this week, is Annika Sorenstam, because she is signed on to play in the tournament. It's the first time in years that she's played in a competitive situation, and she's going to be taking on the men once again, and I have to admit, I like her chances.
Yep, I do too. So I don't think I'll be betting on Pierre LaRouche this year or Smoltz or anybody that I've lost money on over the years. So. All right. So what are the dates on the American Century and tickets? And we better fire it out fast.
Let's go fast. Okay, American Century Championship is July 15th through 20th. Tickets are available each day of the week, 6 days. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are practice rounds. Thursday, it's the Celebrity Am. It's $15 a copy. The weekend prices are $25 a piece. But Rayleigh's, Bel Air, and Nob Hill markets are offering discounts starting tomorrow, June 1st. So get in there and you can save some money on tickets there if you'd like. Or you can buy the tickets at the gate. And all the information is online. Everything you need to know, the complete list of players at TahoeCelebrityGolf.com.
TahoeCelebrityGolf.com. All right. Very quickly, I'm going to see you next week. I know we're going to have an American Century press conference, but also the Tahoe Basin, because of Memorial Day, is all opened up. Give me a very quick course report.
Oh, I'll tell you what, last week was a big week up here. I've been here for 34 years now, and I'll tell you what, it looks like we're back. I mean, there's a lot of projects that are occurring. There's a lot more reinvestment in the area. There's a lot of new investment from outside the area. They're doing things right environmentally and developmentally. So I think we're really looking for Tahoe's on the swing. Here we go. Get ready. It's going to be a big summer. The outdoor concert series at Harvey's is unbelievable. 13 different shows, including Lady Gaga, the Eagles, Zach Brown Band. I mean, you name it, they're going to be here. It's going to be a big summer up here.
Perfect. We're coming out of the recession, and I love it. So, all right. Yeah. Hey, Phil, I'll see you Monday. Thanks for calling. We're going to jump.
You got it. Bring extra balls, Vince.
and extra money for Phil. So just give him money on the way up. All right, back to Cameron. We got like 5 minutes left. So where do we want to go? What haven't you filled us in? We're introducing you to the audience here, really letting them hear your voice rather than just the stories about you. But let's move over academics a little bit. We talked about your golf game. So
yes.
Academically, what are your interests?
I kind of want to go like the business route.
Okay.
Since sophomore year, kind of going to high school, we had some kind of difficulties with NC2A, like clearinghouses with classes. So I kind of had to start taking college courses my sophomore year, and I've been taking them ever since. So going into school, I'll have about 31 units already. So basically my first year already done. But I think I still have to take a few core classes to get out of the way first semester, and then I can go on into my major. But so I guess it's kind of a big advantage going in my first semester.
I like that. I believe that is because with the travel and the demands on you as a competitive athlete, it's tough to keep classes up. This is, I think, good stuff.
That's a huge benefit. Yeah. You can get your feet settled. You get a little wiggle room, right?
Yeah, especially for me being so far from home. So I'm sure the first week or two are going to be kind of a struggle for me, just being away for the first time, kind of realizing I'm going to be away for a while. Right. So I think that really helps a lot.
And where are you living? At school?
Yes, at school, on campus. They just built some new dorms. So I actually kind of had to do a random because we have an odd number of guys coming in. So I'm going to stay with a random, but I'm sure we'll get along just fine.
Explain stay with a random.
Since I'm the odd man out, kind of like the fifth guy.
Yeah.
The other two.
They'll put teammates together,
exactly.
but you won't necessarily be with.
I won't exactly. So
okay.
He may be another sports guy, but I'm not sure at this point. It's just kind of
okay.
Can you clarify one thing? A&M.
Yes.
It's agricultural and military,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Any requirements that way from the school aspect?
No, there's not.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's not.
This is good stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll get to follow you as you know, we follow Austin as well,
Yes,
and we keep tabs on guys that we like. So and it's kind of fun to watch you guys progress through your careers and progress through. You've obviously progressed wonderfully through a junior career,
Yes,
and
sir.
now we'll get to watch you progress through a collegiate career.
And now I know you've got a busy schedule this summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you working on? Anything in your game that you want to really kind of focus on getting ready for college golf?
It's just more the mental aspect for me. Obviously my distance plays key for my game, but it's just more decision making sort of thing for me. If I plan myself out throughout a round properly, I usually play well. But if I make a few mental error mistakes, where aiming or etc., I can kind of get off. So I think if I can kind of
That's easy stuff to learn. You bet.
Yes, if I get to work on that, I think
eliminating mistakes. It's really
yeah.
That's still a very significant part of the game of golf.
Yes.
So, all right, the music means that this is time for us to sign off right now.
Yes, sir.
Once again, I can't say thank you enough to Jeff Tarbell and to John Forteraro for continuing to call and have me in the studio, and which gave me the opportunity to have Brett. And even when Jeff saw my Facebook post yesterday, he took it and reposted on his stuff. So we're friends and supporters of each other. So Cameron, thank you for being with us.
No,
Brett,
thank you, sir.
loved having
Thanks,
you
guys.
here.